I remember it was late at night and we were all very tired from losing. We were in not panic mode, but we were all like, oh my gosh, the road to get to the championship now is going to be very hard. So, but we all went in, I think, with the mindset of, well, now it's like grind time. Like there's no other option other than to win. So when you kind of have that mindset, I feel like you just find any way to make that win possible.
Hello and welcome to Catching You, a dad and daughter softball journey. I'm Rusty, a dad who's been in the dugout and on the sidelines.
And I'm Lacie, the daughter whose journey through softball has been filled with incredible wins, tough losses, and so many lessons both on and off the field.
For the past 16 years, we've navigated the highs and lows of softball together, from the local fields to national tournaments and everything in between.
From the challenges of recruitment during COVID to the mental and emotional roller coaster that comes with being a student athlete, we will be sharing the perspectives of both the parent and athlete and firsthand experience of the impact of sports on mental health and the importance of support from the sidelines.
Welcome back, everybody. I am your co-host of Catching You. I'm here with my daughter, Lacie. Lacie, say hello.
Hi.
Your season's about to start. How many more days? I think it was your number yesterday, right? How many more days till the season
It's
starts?
11. It's 11 days now, but it was 12 yesterday.
12. And what's the significance of the number 12?
Well, I've been number 12 my entire life. So this year I got to change my number back to what it originally was, which is very exciting because I feel like myself again. But like as you get older, you know the significance of having your own number and like what it means to you. Because a lot of my teams I was number 12 and I never changed it until college, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Your freshman year, someone had the number 12. I think she was there at the time. So your freshman and sophomore year, you had to change numbers. Now, what's the significance of the number that you went to?
So I got number 22 because you were 22 in the sports that you played.
That's right. When I was in high school, basketball. Yep.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that. That was pretty cool. Thank you for doing that. Now you're back to your original. Now you feel like you're in your own skin, so to speak.
Yep. New uniforms, new number, new everything.
Yeah. I like these
Basically.
uniforms. This one's aesthetically. I don't know if you talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Aesthetically, they're great. I love how they look. The pants are just a little tight. That's it. Really. People are like, oh, well, tight. Like a lot of people like softball players like tight pants because it just looks better. But when they're a little too tight and you can't really move around much, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
But I like them.
Especially if you're a pitcher and you have to have that long stride. And
Yeah, I'm worried about my catchers more than anything, really, because they have to squat down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. All right. So we're still in the 12s. We're second year 12s. We just got done with the USA Elite World Fast Pitch Championships. And again, at the beginning of the episode, the beginning of the season, Lace, I talked about how we talk about the ups and the downs and everything in between, right?
Yeah.
Well, these are the ups, right? Second year 12s was definitely the up part of your season or your career. Would you agree?
I would agree because it's right before 14s,
Yeah.
which is monumental in my career for multiple reasons.
Yeah, monumental because at the time, and if you're a younger softball player, you wouldn't know, but at the time, you even alluded to it last week that there was eighth graders that were committing. They don't sign on the paper until they're juniors in high school, but so they're committing at eighth grade. So pressure was on. with you even because this was a great season. You were having personally, and then there were girls on your team that were having great seasons too. So the pressure was on not only you, but the girls on your team to perform well in 14 so that you can start committing to these, power, because of the organization we're in, we lean towards these Power 5 schools, right? The
Yeah.
Floridas, Oklahomas, Oregons, Arizonas, right?
My team, we were really excited to move on to 14s because I mean, like you said, that's pretty much the time that everyone was looking at schools, going on visits, committing, and it's crazy to even think that at 13 years old, I was thinking about of what college I wanted to go to, or my coaches are like, "Oh, well, this college is interested. This college is interested." I was like, "I'm just in middle school," but
I'm
that
just,
was the norm.
I'm just a baby.
That but that was the normal. That was the complete normal, and obviously there was pressure and like comparison, like comparing myself to other pitchers that were committing at my age. But now that I think about it, that is just not normal.
Right.
Not
Well,
normal.
and if the organization you're in, right? So you have these top organizations, and you can argue, people can argue with me who they consider the top organizations. And at the time, it was Batbusters, SoCal A's, Firecrackers, Corona Angels, right? Those were kind of your top four. I don't think Mercado was.
They're
I
getting
don't.
there.
They were getting there. I think they just started when you were in eighth grade. So, um, but those are the top colleges were watching those programs because that's where the top players were coming from. So, and if you want to argue with me, you can, but that's what we thought at the time. Those were kind of the top four programs in the nation. Well, let's talk California. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's top programs across the nation. So I don't want to disregard any top programs that weren't in California. Anyway, so we'll get into that. We'll get into the 14s and the pressures of being in that organization and being in the 14s with, one of the top coaches in the nation at the time. But let's backtrack to now we're PGF second year 12s. We're ranked third in the nation. We just came off a huge tournament. We I wouldn't say we're predicted to win the championship. I think there was articles saying that we were favorites to win the PGF National Championship. So there's pressure, right? So I don't know if you felt any pressure coming into this tournament, or you were just on the high from the other tournament. And you're just like, hey, let's go, let's do this.
I think I mean there's always pressure going into the national championship. Um, but yeah, it felt a little different from the Elite Select because I felt like this is like PGF is what everyone's preparing for all summer. Like that's the big time tournament that you want to go win. And even when you're predicted to win, then you're like, okay, like now we have to go win. Or like
Mhm.
if people are talking about you going far, well now you have to go far. There's really no other option is in our minds. Like if you're 2 and out, what the like that doesn't even make sense in my like that's not even a possibility in our minds. So going in, it was just, you know, what we prepared for all year.
Right. And I alluded to it in a couple episodes where we were invited to PGF. So it wasn't like we had to, you know, play our way in, right? So we were invited. So again, like you just said, the preparation was the key. Like we were preparing to play in this tournament because we were ranked so high. People thought, again, some people may not have thought that we were the best team, but we were predicted. I think Flow Softball predicted us to win it anyway. But so let's talk about the tournament again. This is the ups part. So we're not necessarily getting into the mental health aspect that we alluded to early in the season. We will in 14s. and later.
Mhm.
This is actually the ups, the high point of your career. So there's really no mental issues. It's just more, you know, are we going to win, or and then are we just going to be just, how are you going to be disappointed if we lost, which we'll get to in a little bit. But so PGF is it's a long week, right? So,
Yeah.
mom and I are usually in Vegas at this time, and then we fly back in when it's important. Don't laugh.
Vegas? No, no. Vegas is important later in my career as well. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
they're always there
yeah.
every year,
We
and it's always the around the time of the biggest tournament of the season. So
yeah.
someone got to make a choice.
Anyway, Lays.
Anyway,
Anyway, so we fly back in because if you guys don't know, PGF is about a week long, but you play. It was almost like the select, right? You play these, I don't say these friendlies to warm up, you want to get everybody warmed up. So you play 3 games. We're in Vegas. We don't care about those games, so we fly in when it was important. You guys, I think you won your first couple games. I don't even remember who they were, but we won our first couple games. And then the rematch.
with the bolts,
There was a rematch. If you guys don't remember last episode, we played a friendly against the Bulls. They kicked our butt. We played them again in the quarterfinals of the Elite game, and we turned it around and we beat them. And now there's a rematch in PGF. How fitting. 2 versus 3 in the nation, right? And you probably don't remember the game. I don't remember a whole lot of the game either.
me
Um,
either. Yeah,
it was just kind of a blur. They were playing well. We end up losing.
and for people that have been in PGF before, the last thing you want to do is get into the losers bracket. That's like the worst outcome you could ever have.
Yeah, and if you get in the losers bracket early, then it's a tough road, right? And we'll talk about that in just a second. Losing later maybe is not that big of a deal but you get in the losers bracket of PGF because there's so many teams that it's brutal.
Yeah, it's really hard to stay on course and stay focused
Yeah.
because of the amount of games you have to play and the amount of there's breaks because there's a lot of fields, but there's not that many fields that you can play at. So
Mhm.
you have to take game breaks, and then you have to warm up again, play another game, take a break, warm up again, play another game, and just you have to keep winning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second, and then the fields that you play on are you play on the side fields, and
no, yeah,
and if you're listening and you're a softball player, you understand that not every field is made the same, right?
yeah.
So we lose to the Bolts. They get they get one back on us. Um,
Mhm.
Now we play another local team that we've battled with before in the past many times. The Helena Tigers. Coach Sanchez is a good friend of mine. So I don't know. Do you remember any about that part of that game at all?
I remember it was late at night and we were all very tired from losing. We were in not panic mode, but we are all like, "Oh my gosh, the road to get to the championship now is gonna be very hard." So, but we all went in, I think, with the mindset of, well, now it's like grind time. Like there's no other option other than to win. So when you kind of have that mindset, I feel like you just find any way to make that win possible. So scrappy hits, bunt, spinning the ball. I was pitching, I don't know how much during
Every
this week,
Yeah, every
every
game,
game.
100 pitches per game,
So,
probably. Yeah,
so obviously my body's gonna kind of slow down towards the end of the day. And you just really have to focus on hitting your spots or spinning the ball. because velocity at this point is probably out the window.
Yeah.
And
But my
yeah,
guess, you pitched really well, and the team did again. It wasn't just you. I want to make that clear. Maybe I didn't make that clear last episode. You had a great defense behind you, and
yeah,
I don't want to discount anything. That we had a great defense. Jen, Dez at short, who's at Iowa now. You have Bill at second.
Dez is at Pitt.
Pitt. I'm sorry. So
Tatiana's at Iowa.
yeah. So Dez, if you're listening, I apologize. You're at Pitt. So um, yeah, I had somebody else in mind. So yeah, I mean, you go through our roster, they're all D1s, right? Most of us
Yeah.
were D. So we had a really good defense. So, but you're pitching well. Ohio Tigers were a good team, and again, but we weren't a great offensive team at the time. Again, we manufactured runs, so I think we got the first run like super early, and so we kind of exhaled. We're just like, oh, okay, Lacey's pitching well. I think your adrenaline was kicking in. You're just like, okay, we need to win this. So I think you were pitching well because of that. And they end up tying it. It's at 1-1 fairly late. So I think it's like maybe the fifth inning or something like this. The parents are going crazy. We may have had a couple of adult drinks throughout the night, maybe. Not sure.
I mean, it was an everyday thing. It was an everyday thing for you guys. So I
Anyway,
think it's pretty normal.
yeah. So it's an exciting game and it's late. I think we have bases loaded, and I'll never forget this. And if Lenny, you're listening, Lenny is the best, right? Lenny is the best. So bases loaded. Genesis hits a triple down the right field line, scoring 3. Remember, I told you, if we score 3, it's over, right? Nobody's gonna score
Yeah.
more than that against us. So we ended up going up 4-1. But the triple, Lenny climbed the fence about halfway. I don't know if you remember this. He climbed the fence about halfway up, and it was like screaming and yelling. This like, and it was super fun to watch him do that and watch you guys win.
Do you remember Tati's grandma?
Why? No, I don't. What is she doing?
She would scream like for
Oh,
everyone that got a hit. Yeah.
yeah,
She was
yeah,
also part of that.
yeah. She's part of the clan. We had a good group of parents. And we're still really good friends today. But we needed to win that game. I don't know if you guys know. So if you lose 2, you're out. So if we would have lost that game, we're going home, right?
Yeah.
Um, literally home, and we can talk about that in a second too. We kind of talked about it off camera, but what was cool about the USA Elite was we were at the hotel together. We did everything together, right? As a family, we consider ourselves a family at that point because we were just so close. We played together since first year 10s. There's a lot of us that were, it's our 4th season together. We've been traveling together, and so we're almost family, right? So this was a different feel. Can you describe that feel of USA Elite compared to the PGF?
So PGF, I mean, it's hosted in Huntington Beach. So this is about maybe an hour and a half from where our house is,
Mhm.
down in Southern California. So you have all these teams from like the East Coast or the South coming and traveling to Huntington Beach and staying in hotels. And I mean, it's so different for PGF because when girls live maybe 30 minutes away from Huntington Beach, or how we live like maybe an hour, we can just kind of go home after a game or 2 and sleep in our own beds. But for me personally, that just feels like I'm going somewhere on the week, like to a random tournament on the weekend, going and playing and then coming home and waking up the next morning and doing it all over again, which isn't a national championship type feel. Like when you're playing a national championship, you want to feel like you're there, you traveled somewhere big and you stay in an hotel. You're not in your own house with your own room with I mean, kind of distractions, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like when we went to Kansas City, you're staying in the hotel, you're staying with all your teammates at the same hotel. You're going to get dinner all together. I mean, all the parents are hanging out together. But with PGF, with our team being originally from SoCal, people just go home and, I mean, have dinner at home or something. It's like, it's not the same thing. But you have these other teams staying in hotels, doing everything together, driving to the fields together.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole different vibe, I feel like.
Yeah. And we were lucky because your grandparents, your Mima and Papa have a place, I think 15 minutes, 20 minutes from where we were playing. So we stayed there that night, right? So even though it was a late night, I mean, can you imagine? It was a late night. Like when we won it, I think the game ended at maybe 10 o'clock.
10 or 11, and I still had to go take a shower.
Yeah. And
It
you
was
were not,
long.
yeah, you were so tired. So can you imagine us having to drive back all the way back to our home an hour away and then
Yeah.
just so you know, to set it up for everybody, we have to be back at the field at 6:30 because the first game is at 8 because we're in a loser's bracket now. So we have to win four, we need to win 4 in a row. So that first game was at 8. We had to be there at 6:30. Can you imagine if we had to come back home an hour and then have to wake up at
Yeah.
5 a.m. maybe 4 or
Yeah.
5?
I mean, grateful for the house in Huntington Beach, but I mean, it's still because I mean, I grew up going there and
Yeah.
staying there when we stay with my grandparents, but still not like a hotel vibe and
Exactly.
getting breakfast in the morning and all
Right.
that stuff.
Yeah. So now we're the next day. This is Saturday. You have to win 4 in a row. Again, lack of sleep. You probably from the adrenaline. I'm guessing you didn't get to bed until close to midnight. Maybe after that, having to wake up at 5 a.m. to get ready and stuff. So um yeah. So we have to win 4. So we win that first game. I think it was actually again, all of our games were close. I said that off camera. All of our games were close. It wasn't like it wasn't like we were blowing anybody out. I don't think we blew anybody out. It was just as long as we can score 3 runs, we felt pretty good. So I think we won 3-2. Next game we play a team SoCal A's, had a really good pitcher. I think we won 1-0.
Yeah.
Right. I don't remember, but we win the 4 games. So we get to it's called a what if game. So the team that we're playing now has won all our games. So we have to beat them twice in order to get to the finals. This is semifinals. We made it to the semifinals.
Yeah. And we're
Right.
exhausted.
Right.
We're deadbeat. Like this is just I can't even describe how I think you kind of just black out, really. But like during those 4 games, like I have no memory of what those 4 games look like. None. I only remember the semifinals because like I said earlier, there's no other option other than to win. So when we woke up that morning, we're like, all right, we're going to win 4 games and then it's the semifinals. Like those 4 games,
Yeah.
like honestly did not mean anything because in our heads, we're like, all right, we're winning.
Yeah. We're playing 6. We're playing 6 games today, no matter what. Right. That was
Yeah.
your that.
Yeah. But if we had ever gone in being like, oh, like worrying about any of those games, I think we would have been out
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, and this is nothing against Lax or Corby. He was running with who got us there, right? So you're pitching every game, 100
Yeah.
pitches, 100 pitches plus per game. So we win the 4 games. We get to the semifinals. We have to beat this team twice. Sudden Impact, they were really good.
Yeah.
Their pitcher was real good. So the strategy was we're going to sit you because they sat their number 1. Like you guys warmed up, but we saw who they were warming up, and they were warming up their number 2. So we're like, okay, let's pitch Lex. And Lex was a good pitcher. It wasn't nothing
She
against
had
her.
this great spin.
Yeah, her curveball was
It's crazy.
legit, right? I think it was a drop curve, if I'm not mistaken. But
Well, and she
um,
had a good changeup too.
yeah. So so we win that game.
Me
We
too.
win it. Yeah, we win the game. So we're like, holy cow, we're one game away to get into the national championship, right?
Yeah.
Um, and in that game, I don't know if you remember, it's on PGF. It's on national. No, it wasn't on national TV, but it was filmed. They filmed every game. They commentated
Yeah.
on it, and so ball was hit this
Well,
time.
and then
Go ahead.
this is my second time having to play what if game.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's right.
did it in 10U
Yep.
and did it in 12U now for the championship or semifinals this one, but
Semifinals.
I just don't
So
like it.
yeah, so we're up 2-1, real late in the game. Ball hit the center, line drive, and Hannah Kaur does what she does, right? She's playing for Oklahoma now, and she's done it multiple times. We've seen it in practices, right? She probably did it more
Yeah.
in practices. She did some crazy catches in practices, but
Well,
yeah,
if you do it in practice, you're going to do it in the game
exactly. So
type thing.
she was a legit catch, and she was tiny at the time. She's not tiny now. But
Yeah.
she was tiny
Yeah.
at the time, but great catch. We get to the next game. Again, another close game. We got the two top pitchers battling it out, and just unfortunately, I think there was an error, like an
Yeah.
overthrow. They scored early, and it was one of those things where it was almost like you. It was like if that pitcher had 2 or 3 runs behind her belt, that she wasn't giving up any runs, right? I think she gave up 1 run, and it was like a fluke, and I think we ended up losing 3-1. So we ended up getting 3rd place, which is fitting.
Eliminated.
It's fitting because we were ranked 3rd in the nation at the time. So we ended up being
We,
where we were supposed to be, I guess.
we proved everyone right, basically,
Right.
except going and winning. We were supposed to go and win, but then
There's a lot.
guess remember who got third, third too, like there was co-third.
Yeah, it's tied for 3rd, right? You have 2 teams that
Yeah.
tied for.
Do you remember who it was?
I know. Georgia
It
Impact.
it was SoCal 3D.
Oh, that's right. With
Yeah. Dee, yeah.
Edie, that's right. She's at San Diego State now. That's right.
Yeah. Well, because that's another one of our rivals, but we classify them as like our good rival.
Yeah, they were cool. Their coaches were similar
We
to
love
us.
their coaches. Yeah.
Our coaches. In
You're
fact,
friends with the girls.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we have a DD story, right? You end up pitching against her in one of her games. You pitch against her in her last high school game. I don't know if you remember. She pitched for
Yes.
Crescenta Valley.
Yes. And we were at Mesa.
Yep. So
Yeah.
anyway, we can talk about that when we get to the high schools. So we get the 3rd place trophy. They hand us the 3rd place trophy, and I talked in episodes in previous what we did with if we didn't win, what we did with certain things, right? So I think it was a Mother's Day or a Memorial Day back in 10U or 12U, and we got 2nd. What did we do, Lace, with the ribbons?
We show them in the trash.
Throw them in the trash because we don't do 2nd
No.
place.
None of us wanted the medal anyways. We already have like all these medals from other tournaments. We don't
Right.
want that one.
Right. People might be listening and be like, "You nuts," but it was at the time that was our mentality. So, so we get the trophy, and we do what with the trophy?
We leave it on home plate for anyone to take, really.
Yeah. So you guys meet in left field. There's crying. You guys are disappointed. Parents, we're disappointed. We're hearing rumors about 14 at this time, and we'll get into that.
I had no idea
Yeah.
about any of this.
Either
So,
do we. I mean, because the idea, and again, Chris's whole thing in 12s and 10s, my job is to prepare you for Mark Campbell and Mike Stitz.
Yeah.
Like, that's my job. I'm preparing you guys. This is why your practice is so hard, because when you get to them, it's going to be, I wouldn't say an easy transition, but it's going to be a similar transition, right? You're going to
Right.
see how these practices are run. And we'll get into that when you get with in the 14s. But so there's rumors, because Stith and Campbell were watching the game.
Mhm.
So they were like watching, us lose. But the rumors were that there were certain girls from this team that were going to go to Campbell and somewhere. So there was kind of rumors flying, and we were just like, kind of, I don't know. So you guys were meeting in left field. You say your goodbyes. Somebody, I don't know who said it on home plate. Could have been Kaylin.
I don't know who put it on a home plate, but
But
the huddle after the game really like stuck with me. Like I still remember everyone's bawling her eyes out, except Emily, of course, because she showed no emotion. Um, and we're all just like saying how proud we are of each other, all this stuff, how we should have won, blah, blah. But then, I mean, people start bringing up like, and we're not all going to be together next year. And I'm like confused. I'm like, I'm still angry about the game, but also people are like, oh, we're not going to all be together. And like these like girls, I developed like a huge relationship with them, and I see them more than my friends at school, and even more than my family sometimes. And now they're talking about us not playing together, and I can't even imagine a world where we don't play together. So now they're saying, well, like Lacey's going to Mark's team and blah blah blah. I was like, when was that ever said? Like no one's came up to me and said, hey, you're going to Mark's team.
right.
Like hasn't even happened. So why are you why are you assuming that? And I'm already emotional as it is.
Yeah.
And now people are like, well, how do you not know? Like, how do you not know that you're going? I was like, I've been invested in this team since I was 9. And you want me to start thinking about moving to another team, and you think I'm like dead set on moving to another team. Like, no, obviously if there's an option of us all staying together, what do you think I'm gonna choose? And I still remember that meeting, and then I'm bothered because like no one said anything to me about that.
Right.
Like,
Like, why do we keep going from me?
yeah,
We didn't know either. We were hearing the rumors during that last game. Like, we had no idea until
right.
that last game, like, things were going to get shaken up. It was like, oh, cow. Anyway, we're going to
Well,
get
then
into that. Yeah, go ahead.
you were talking about how Chris was like kind of leading us up to it,
Yeah.
and then after the last game, things kind of
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah. We can get into that right before. We'll talk about it in the next episode as far as you guys getting split up and how people reacted.
Yeah.
We're going to have that next episode. But so somebody had the trophy. We're walking back to our cars. Again, we don't have hotels. We're walking back to our cars because we're all going to go back home because we only live a half hour away. And somebody put the trophy on home plate, and we left. And the director was not happy at PGF. They were just like, what are you guys doing? Like, so I guess the director or whoever like gave it back to Stith and said, hey, they forgot their trophies. No, we didn't forget it.
And
No.
and then after you're done with PGF or like that last tournament, you only get maybe like 2 or 3 weeks off, and then you're trying out for another team or like
Yeah.
going back to practice. So like before then, you got to go into the facility, start work. You still got to work out. Like it never stops, right?
Right.
And so I still remember going in for no, it wasn't uniform fitting, but maybe probably going into workout or something. And our trophy is at the foot of the stairs. And what our organization did was we used 3rd or 2nd place trophies as doorstops. So it was a doorstop at STC.
There you-
And I was like, oh, I swear we left that at home plate, but I guess someone returned it.
Yeah, they put it back in the box and they gave it back to Mike and said, Mike, here you go. So
Doorstop. New doorstop. Thank you.
we were consistent, right? We don't do anything less than first place. So anyway, and we'll get into next week too, as far as now you're going to camps, right? You get elected to go to that select 30 elite camp in Alabama.
Yes,
No,
because
Louisiana.
because
Louisiana was the second one.
Louisiana was the second one because
That's when you had the LSU visit.
and then
So
the first one we were in Alabama and we like walked around Auburn or something like that. I was like, oh my gosh, I love Auburn.
Oh no, we walked around in Alabama. Remember we tried to sneak into the stadium?
Well, yeah, but then we went to Auburn and I got like this Auburn keychain and I wore it. I put it on my backpack at school and I thought it was really cool.
That's right. Anyway, so we'll talk about that next week. And any parting words? How you feeling about the upcoming season?
Oh, well, I mean, these past few weeks we've been practicing a lot. Like, well, now that we're in spring semester, per NCAA rules, we have to have one day off throughout the entire week, which is always Mondays. So Mondays we always have off. But do I wish it was on a Sunday? Probably, because Sunday practices feel like never ending. Like you're like, oh, when does this week end? Because usually, because I feel like it's more routine for us to like have weights and practice in the morning and then go to class and then all this stuff. It's like the whole week routine, but it starts on Monday and then we practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
But Sunday feels like you need to have a reset day before school starts on Monday. So it's just all weird. But we've been doing good in we've been scrimmaging, we've been doing all this stuff. And I think we've worked pretty hard.
Yeah, you have. Cool. All right. So everyone who's listening, we have a favor to ask. If you could rate the show, give us 5 stars if you would. Yeah. and then what is that? Not comment. What do they?
You can leave a review.
Leave a review. That's what I meant.
Leave a review.
Guess I'm a rookie at this podcast stuff. Leave a review and then share it. Share it with people you think that would enjoy this type of show. So we would appreciate that. Please do that so we can grow. And we will catch you on the other side. Bye, Lacie. I love you.
Bye. Love you.